Bob Hickman. It is so rocking to be back with you. Well, here we are. It's Saturday. And you know what that means? It's time for our Saturday seance. That's right. I tell you, I'm in just an excited mood today. You guys have just put me in such a good mood. I want to say thank you. Lottie came out to yesterday's video. We talked about setting up a Halloween/Samhain altar, and so many of you shared your experiences and your insights and such wonderful comments. I want to say thank you. If you haven't seen that video, definitely check that out. That's in the queue right before this video, so you don't want to miss it. Anyways, today, I got up and I was just feeling extravagant. Do you ever feel extravagant, like being, luxurious? And I opened my jewelry box. I have literally several jewelry boxes. I collect jewelry. I don't know. I just love it. I've been buying it for years. And I found a pin that I bought a while back that I forgot that I owned. Check this out. This is my panther. It's a black panther. Let's see if you guys can see it. And he's got a beautiful jeweled collar on. And it's just like gold collar with little diamondettes in it. And he's all done in black. And I didn't know if wearing a black panther and a black sweater would work, but I kind of like it. It's kind of monochromatic. So I decided to put on my black panther, and he's one of my guardians. I've always felt drawn to the panthers. So anyways, I have a few little panther pieces. In a future video, I'll show you some of my other panthers. But I love the panther, and I guess it's, kind of in my blood. Some of you may know that I am actually, on my birth father's side of the family, one of my cousins on my father's side was the late Duchess of Windsor. Wallace Simpson from Baltimore. My family is from Baltimore, and we were intermarried with her family, and she was a cousin. And members of my family actually knew her. But the Duchess of Windsor had a great collection of panther pins and brooches, and she just had style. I always liked her style. I thought it was classy, and I think panthers are just cool. I think they're something that men and women can wear. So I'm wearing a panther pin, and I'm just having a lot of fun. So anyways, well, it's Saturday. That means Saturday night seance. And for those of you who are new here, this is a new tradition. Well, not a new tradition. It's an old tradition that comes out of the spiritualist church tradition. And it's something that we do here at Spirit Channel. And basically what we do is we gather in a circle. And so if you were actually physically here in my home tonight, I just say, pull up your chairs here around my chair, and we're going to open the spirit door. So I'm a trance medium, and that means when I go into trance, the consciousness of the spirits come through me and overshadow me, and they speak through me. And it's always amazing. I never know what's going to happen, and it's always an adventure. So, I get as much out of the seance as you do because I get to hear all the messages. So, we're going to do that tonight. So I'm inviting you now. Just pull up your chairs here. Let's have our virtual seance circle. And I'm going to settle down and go into trance. So I will see you when I get back. I find great joy in coming to speak to all of you tonight. When you're one such as I, the opportunity to connect back to the earth realm is a great blessing. In my younger year, I liked to communicate and speak with people. When I was at the university, I used to engage in debate and public speaking. In those days, my mind was active and stimulated. Though if not wise, I had the energy of youth. It is a shame that in my earthly life I clouded my knowledge and wisdom and actually weakened my ability to have wisdom. It is most fortunate for me that the spirit world is more forgiving than the earthly realm. In the earthly realm, people tend to judge each other. They look and they say, this person is a good person, or this person is a bad person. All judgment is weak and limited ultimately, for unless that judgment comes through the higher self, it is of earthly base. Though there may be validity in some judgment, ultimately judgment cannot reach the heart of the matter. This is why it is important that we not sit in judgment on others. You see, at each person's journey, the soul crosses many paths, many opportunities for growth. Some people are unaware of the opportunities and pass them by. Some seek to follow their opportunities, and in doing so, to attain wisdom, they experience things that others may find less than desirable. And so when we look upon a person and we see them and we say, that person is of no good, that person has no value, we must be careful, for we do not know what their journey ultimately is. It is true that the higher spirit, the Godhead, oversees all journeys. The degree to which you allow the Godhead to have influence on your life determines how far you progress. For example, in my case, I clouded my mind with alcohol, with drugs, to the point that I very much lost my connection with the spiritual world. The spiritual world was always around me, but I did not accept it. I did not embrace it. For those who have the wisdom to embrace the spiritual world, there is much opportunity for growth, opportunity for blessing, and dare I say, even opportunity for joy. Joy is something that is lost in the world today. Many people go through their lives focusing only on material things. They think, I must worry about money. I must worry about prestige. I must worry about this and that. And in the process of their worry, they lose joy. If you spend your life trying to keep up with others, trying to keep up appearances, worrying about what others think, others' perception rob you of your joy. Do not let others take your joy. Your joy must be organic. It must come from within. Fletcher and Rose have often spoke to me about the light of the soul. When I first arrived here, my soul was very dim and very dingy. It has since become brighter and lighter. It's a sense like the soul is like a glass, and a glass that is cloudy. And as the Spirit illuminates it, it starts to burn away the cloud and becomes clear and sparkling like a fine crystal. If you think of your souls as crystals, look within and ask yourself, is my crystal shining? Is it clear? Is it bright? If you find within that you are cloudy, that your crystal is dark, your glass is only partly illumined, ask yourself what it is that holds you back from having clarity. Perhaps you hold on to fear, false fear somebody has implanted in you from your youth. Perhaps somebody have told you that you will always be poor in your life, and then therefore you have an abject fear of poverty. Perhaps you have actually been poor, and yet though you have obtained success now, you still hold on to the fear of returning to that poverty. You must let go of fears. Fears are illusory. It is true that some fears can manifest, but more often than not, most fear never manifests. And if you do have it manifest, instead of wallowing in fear, approach it from a place of growth and learning. If you look at your challenges and you say to yourself, how can I overcome this? How can I make it bright? How can I take darkness and turn it into light? Then you have already begun on the process of spiritual growth. Souls today have forgotten wisdom. Wisdom is not a commodity in the earth today. People scoff at wisdom, and they equate wisdom with spiritual truth. And they believe that if you have spiritual truth, that you are very daft, that you don't have any intelligence. It is a false teaching that intelligence requires atheism. For a while myself, I found myself even in that place. At one point in my darkness and despair, I denounced God. But you see, even though I denounced God, God never denounced me. And when I began to consider that I should at least try to let this presence into my life, my soul began to grow. At the time of my passing, I had just begun to consider it. though I did not cross into the glories of heaven, for I was not fully prepared. The purgatory that I went to was a place of darkness, but even in that darkness there was a dim light in the distance. It was the little bit of light that I had brought into my soul. When a spirit leaves the body, it will obtain in the spirit world that reality to which it is most comfortable. Some will say, "But Alfred, why could you not go straight to the light? Is that not God's mercy? Is God so hateful to place you in that darkness?" No, my dears, it truly is the love of God that placed me in that darkness. For in that darkness I was most comfortable. If you ask Rose, she herself will tell you that even though she wandered in that darkness, it was not necessarily a place of distress for her. It was a place of waiting, of contemplation. Know that you will find yourself in the realm after your death, where you will achieve the greatest contemplation. Those souls which are more enlightened, those which have allowed a greater degree of light, will find themselves in beautiful vistas, fields of emerald green with flowers and trees and waterfalls. It is very heavenly there, very paradisical. But even it is a temporary holding place. The true spiritual growth is never ending, and so there is not one destination, but there are many destinations for the soul. And so when after death you will begin your entry into the spirit world at the destination where you are most adept, most comfortable, and where you will find the greatest opportunity to begin your reflection. For those souls that awaken in the pitch blackness, some have come back to the earth with tales of great terror. They have said, "In that darkness I was alone, I was terrified." You see, yes, for some souls the initial shock that they have survived death is a terrifying reality. For those who have not had faith, who have not believed that there is higher power, they find themselves in that place of darkness. And for them it is truly abject and terrible. But the terror comes from their own minds, their own thoughts. There are no bogeymen there. There are no one to attack and terrorize them. No, it is a place of waiting. It is a place of expiation where you must confront who you truly are. But if you accept this, when you cross into even the darkness, you will begin to see the light. No one is ever abandoned to the light. And for any soul that finds themselves there, and if you yourself should one day cross, and I hope that you will remember my words, call out to God, call to the light, and then in doing so, you will have peace and you will have renewed hope, and the light will begin to come unto you. It may be very dim at first, but it will come to you. So do not have fear. Greetings, my dears. This is Rose. It's a blessing to be here with you. You know, I could not help but be standing over on the side of our medium here, listening in closely to Alfred's transmission. My dears, I must say I'm so proud of him. You know, this medium and Fletcher and myself, we helped him to cross over into the spirit world. And he's taken full advantage of the opportunity to learn so very much and to grow. Let Alfred be a light to all of you. If you're watching this broadcast this evening and you're feeling alone, you think no one cares, perhaps I'm destined for emptiness and darkness, do not hold on to that. Reach out to me, reach out to Alfred, call upon Fletcher, call upon our medium here. We are your team and we want to help you to move closer to the light. The wonderful thing about the spirit world is that you don't actually have to die to achieve it. You only have to want it. You say, isn't that simple, Rose? Do you only have to want it? Absolutely, my dear. Well, I suppose there's another part that I should talk about with you. Don't you have to want it? You have to be willing to allow our influence in your life. And you say, well, what does that mean? Well, you know, my dear, so if you're given to negative habits, and you invite the spirit people in, we might remind you a little bit now and then. We might prod you and say, You should not be so hateful to that neighbor of yours, even if they are a nasty person. You should react with love and kindness. Now I know for some of you they go, my, this sounds a bit too much for me. My dears, do not have fear. We will not force you to do anything. Remember, you are yourself a spirit. You are in a body and in incarnation, and this allows you to have free will. No matter whether in the body or in the spirit world, you never sacrifice your free will. So while in the earthly form, use your free will to do good. You say, Rose, I'm so degenerate. I cannot do anything. I've fallen so far. Do you know, my dears, look at Alfred, look at myself. Both of us, we were not of the highest mind or vibration when on the earth, but we got opportunities to grow. You see, but you do not be like us. Do not wait until it's the end of the day, at the final hour, before you have your deathbed conversion. No, no. Let the spirit in now. I promise you, you'll be so thankful that you did. You know, my neighbor Madge told me that upon her death, she went into the most glorious light. I said, you didn't go to that darkness that I was in? You didn't have that purgatory? And she said, no, my dear, I didn't experience that. I said, oh, I thought everybody had to go through it. She said, well, you know, as you're ready for the light, you'll be brought into the light. And then it suddenly made sense to me, you see. For my neighbor had spent her earthly life focused on the light. Every day she reached to God. She prayed for me, you know. She prayed for everybody in our neighborhood, you know. What a kind soul. And you know, when she died, she got to go straight into the glorious light of the kingdom of God. Now that I'm here in the light, I have such peace and joy in my soul, and such great thankfulness for my neighbor Madge who prayed for me, thankfulness to all the angels who come to greet me and reach out to me. You know, I was such a fool, I even pushed them away. But you see, God's mercy is eternal. You know, it is said that the door to reformation is never closed to any spirit, either on the earth or in the spirit world. And it is a very true principle. Since coming over here, I've met wonderful souls. I've met Arthur Ford. I've met Fletcher. I met Sir Arthur Findlay as well. Kind gentleman that is, a great spiritualist. You know, my neighbor Madge used to know him when she was alive. And you see, so many of us were interconnected to the spiritualist movement. But unfortunately, I did not take advantage of that at the time. But I can tell you, I'm certainly making up for it over here. And you know, I don't ever not have a cocktail party on the weekends. And I tell you, when I do, I invite the finest of the spiritualists. And I love to hear them tell me of their earthly sojourns. You know, over here, we're always growing and learning. Knowledge never ends. So do not let yourself give in to despair. So many of you on earth say, well, Rose, you have lost my job, I've lost my money, I've lost my home, I've lost my spouse, everything's gone. Well, my dear, if you've lost everything in the earthly realm, honestly, you should rejoice. It means the Spirit has allowed everything that has been a distraction to your soul to be taken from you. Now, I know at the moment it seems ghastly, horrible, frightening. But I promise you, if you will let go of the fear and you will consider that this is a chance to begin again, once everything is gone, you have nothing to lose. So if you invest your energy in the spirit world, there's really nothing to lose. And you might say, well, I don't know, I'm going to die anyways, what does it matter? Well, then if that's the case, my dear, if you're going to die, then wouldn't it be better just to die with such love and joy in your heart? So many of you have reached out to my medium here and said how much he has helped you. And we are so pleased that he is doing the work of spirit. Do you know his generosity gives so much energy for us to come through him each week. And other times, even when he's not doing this special meeting, he lets us come through him to bring inspiration and help. And so we want you to know that if you feel alone and no one understands you, Reach out to our world. Reach out to our medium. He also understands. He's suffered much in his life as well. But we have seen to it that he is protected always. And so you need not fear. If he can survive the onslaught of attacks, and I tell you, he's been through it, my dear, then you too can survive. There are many people today are finding themselves being in a place of fear, for fear is all upon the earth now. Let the Spirit come in and guide you, my dears. Then you would no longer have fear. If your fear of death is removed, what is the greatest fear then? There is nothing greater than that, my dear. And if you can conquer that fear, and truly, my dears, come to know that there's eternal life, and you will have great joy, joy greater than anything the world can offer you. In my earthly life, I had a lot of money. I did. I had diamonds and jewels and titles and all sorts of manners of prestigious things. But none of it is compared at all to what I have now here in the spirit world. Here I have a joy. I have knowledge of the Godhead. I have knowledge of eternity. And my dears, please know you will live forever. And how you live in that eternity is up to you. There is no God to curse you and damn you. If you find yourself in hell, there is a hellish realm, my dear. But even that you can escape if you make your heart right. Everybody chooses the reality. So choose for the good, choose for the light, and you will have no fear. And someday when it is your time to come to our world, you will come here with joy and peace. And like my dear neighbor Madge, you'll have the glorious experience. You won't have to experience purgatory. I knew a wise priest once. He said, do your purgatory on earth, and then you don't have to do it after you die. I kind of like that. So when you're faced with the challenges and the heartaches and the struggle, if you offer it up with prayer to God, then you are doing your time already in purgatory. And so let your sufferings on the earth be your ticket to heaven. Live them with joy in your heart as much as possible. Offer the prayer, and if you call upon us, we will certainly come to you. Fletcher has told me that the power is growing weak now, so I shall not tax our medium's body any more. My dear, such a blessing to be here with you. I send each of you my blessings, and it is my prayer now that God's light will shine in your heart. And as the power starts to fade, please know that I am still with you always, and I will never leave you. And the light of the kingdom will shine with you forever. Will never be forgotten. Hey, Tubies, this is Bob Hickman. Wow, I tell you, I could feel the power on me today. The spirits were wonderful. I love when they come through. It's just really intense for me and wonderful. Well, if you enjoyed that, I got some wonderful books you might want to check out. For those of you who are new here, I do have published books, and you can pick these up over at my website. This is my book about Rose. It's called Messages from Rose, and it's by me, and it talks about my life and work with my beloved spirit guide. I love Rose. She's such a big part of my life. And you can pick this up over there at robert-hickman.com. And, you know, while you're over there are other books. If you want to get some other books for yourself or for friends or family, loved ones. We also have Psychic Bob's book, A Wiccan Wisdom, which is a lot of fun. We've got Ouija Mysteries, and we've got a few others. So definitely pop over to my website and check it out. But if you enjoy hearing from Rose and connecting with her, this is the book you want to get, Messages from Rose. But really, any of them are wonderful, okay? Well, guys, thanks for being here. I hope that, you can give Psychic Bob some support here by liking this, favoriting it, sharing it with your friends. And if you can, hit subscribe and be part of our channel. We'd sure love you to be here. Well, you guys rock. So keep it here at Spirit Channel. We got more coming. Again, if you didn't see yesterday's video, definitely check that out on how to set up a Halloween altar. And also, tomorrow is Sunday. And I don't know what we're going to do tomorrow, but we'll have something fun. So make sure to be back here. Maybe we'll go for another Sunday walk. But I'm so glad you're here, and I hope you'll keep it here at Spirit Channel and be part of our scene. So thank you for being here. And of course, next week we'll have another Saturday night seance. Blessed be.